What up, everybody? It's your boy, DFS Up North, and we are back with a Sunday Night Football showdown. I'm recording this right now. It is the middle of the main slate. We haven't quite got to the 3 o'clock games yet. By the time this gets posted, I'm guessing we will be having the 3 o'clock games getting kicked off. 3 o'clock because we're in Central Standard Time Zone here. That is the best time zone. Get out of here with that East Coast crap. So we've got Buffalo and Baltimore tonight. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a fantastic Sunday Night Football game. I can't wait to watch it on the projector here in my man cave downstairs. 12 feet wide on the wall. Excited to watch Lamar Jackson ball out tonight. So we're going to get it all broken down here in a minute. We're going to talk about DraftKings. We're going to talk about FanDuel. We're going to build some lineups on each side. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the domination station setup that I use. So my goal for today, 10 under 10 video earlier this week. Lots of people watched it, but there was some not very kind comments out there. So my number one goal is I'm not going to say all right. And my secondary goal is that I'm going to try not to say like. And my third, probably most important goal is that I'm going to make sure that I'm talking about players that are on the same team. So if you catch me saying that Josh Allen is going to throw the ball to Rashad Bateman, you know what? That might be the last time I do a video because I was talking about Joe Flacco throwing the ball to Michael Pittman Jr. Or not Joe Flacco. Sorry. Yeah, Joe Flacco. Yeah. Not because Daniel Jones is now on the Colts. It's all these veterans going team to team. My brain was like all frazzled. I was having a hard time making that connection. To be honest, guys, I hate to say it, but I kind of felt like geek doing it. So, I was getting guys' names wrong. We were struggling a little bit here, but let's break it down. I actually tried to record this last night, but we've been having some issues. We had some issues with our ownership projections. And you know what? We are back at it now, though, and we are going to be good to go. Here's the thing. Did anybody else know that you could sort these on our cheat sheets? Because I didn't. I normally just work within like the the back end of the website. I did not know that you could sort by like ownership and things like that within the cheat sheet, which is super handy. Just that alone right there is reason to join DFS Army. Again, if you're not a DFS Army VIP, use that code KICKOFF2025. That gets you 20% off for life. So here we go. Let's talk about the game. We have a 50-point total. Lamar and the Ravens are 25.5-point team total. Allen is 24.5-point home dog. All right. So we got a good game lining up here. Like I said, it's going to be a close one. I think we smash the over here. I think that we're going to see closer to 60. So if you are a betting man and can get on the over at 50, I really, really like that. So here's sort of how I feel the game is going to go today. All right. I think that we see Josh Allen do Josh Allen things. I think the Bills are going to be roughly the same as they always have been. He's going to spread it around, which makes him a very likely captain and MVP candidate. Not one guy is just going to get it. We're not going to see a Khalil Shakir get 2 touchdowns or, that's unlikely. Could it happen? Sure. This is a showdown. Anything can happen. Ben Skoronix just scored the first touchdown of the game for the Steelers. Crazy things. John Smith ran a touchdown in for the Steelers too. Maybe it's just an Arthur Smith thing. Maybe if Arthur Smith is not coaching, we're not going to see crazy things like that. But I think that we're going to see Josh Allen do Josh Allen things. He's going to run the ball a little bit. He's going to throw the ball. This Ravens defense is going to again pressure, do a nice job of that. I think that they will bring the heat on him. If he'll be able to handle it, he'll be able to find some guys on routes. But I don't foresee any of his like wide receivers having a big game. I just said I'm trying not to. But then on the other side of the ball, common sense would say we're going to see the Derrick Henry 200-yard rushing game that we saw early in the season last year. But I think that we will see Lamar Jackson stay in the pocket today and push the ball downfield to guys like Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, even maybe like a Tez Walker, guys like that. I think that we are going to see a passing performance from Lamar tonight with obviously the rushing upside to maybe get a touchdown as well. So for that reason, Lamar is my favorite play on this slate. So if we zoom in a little here, we can see I've got Lamar as my favorite play on the slate here. Can we zoom out a little bit? Can I get it going here? There we go. So I got Lamar Jackson with that blue line, 6,200. He's actually cheaper than Josh Allen. I said right here, I'm not going to overthink this one. He's going to be my highest owned captain MVP. I think that we got Allen is obviously a fine play as well. Could he get there? Yes, they're dogs at home. Obviously, that's a good spot for him to put up a massive score. The stand that I am going to make today, guys, is I am going to be underweight on Derrick Henry. You can think I'm crazy. That is fine. That is well-intentioned, right? I understand the risk here. We cannot... The thing with showdowns is that sometimes you got to make a stand, right? And for me, I'm pushing my chips in today on Lamar Jackson throwing the ball. All right. And that the Bills are going to bottle up Derrick Henry on the ground. To do that and build lineups like that is a very, very scary thing, guys. All right. Understand that. So, but at 10% owned, he's not like crazy owned in the captain. So you can still get a little bit of exposure there. But yeah, I am going under on Derrick Henry just because I think that the Bills are going to sell out, stop the run, and that Lamar is going to pick them apart through the air. Love Zay Flowers. I think there's some big upside, low floor. Story of Zay Flowers' life. We're going to build some lineups here in a second, and we can see sort of how that looks with Zay Flowers in there with the salary relief on both sites with a wide receiver in there. James Cook signed a big extension in the offseason. I think he's one of the best options here. You can get him at a big discount. I think that James Cook gets it done potentially even in a loss here. He gets in the end zone. Gets he's seen some monster ceiling games. We saw him get more involved in the passing game, so I do actually like him a little bit more on DraftKings than FanDuel. I'm going to be way overweight. Like Cook will maybe be my highest owned bill in this game. Khalil Shakir, low end captain, solid flex play. He's the de facto number one here. One of Allen's favorite targets. At this price tag, I do think he needs to find the end zone, but he can get there. TD in his normal workload, just based on the salary relief, we could see it happen. The next guy here and the last guy that I have is a potential captain option. And understand, guys, that anybody is really, I guess, a captain option. These are just the guys that I am, building 150 around. Likely is going to be these players. And that's Rashad Bateman, who I think is sitting on a monster year here. Like I said, this secondary is bad. He can catch balls close to the line of scrimmage. He's a good deep ball. He's good in close. Without Isaiah Likely, I do think that we see Flowers and Bateman get more work. And then also Mark Andrews is going to be the direct beneficiary. All these guys are obviously viable in the flex here on DraftKings as well. But let's talk about some of the other options. Mark Andrews, like I just said, Isaiah Likely's out. I think Mark Andrews is a pretty strong play. He's not, a smash by any means at this point in time in his career. We've seen sort of the up and down with him, but he's viable. He's going to get more usage. We talked about Shakir. We talked about Bateman. I really love the price tag. And then, we're getting sort of into our other plays here for the Bills, and I've got Keon Coleman. I'm trying to keep this zoomed in so you guys can see, but it is kind of a pain, so you don't have to like zoom in on your YouTube if you're watching on your phone. But Keon Coleman, I have a hard time with Keon Coleman. I just think I want him to be better than he is. Maybe his second year in the NFL, he's going to really figure it out here. But yeah, I'm a guy that it's hard to get a good read on. He's not had this like breakout performance yet. And when he has had a good performance, he hasn't been able to follow it up. I get that that's rookie year wide receiver things, but we'd like to see a little bit more consistency. The price is right on DraftKings. He's a fine play. Dalton Kincaid as well, but you also got Dawson Knox sitting there, right? We can see Dalton Kincaid go for a 0 tonight. That is absolutely within the realm of possibility. But he's a fine play. Josh Palmer, new to the Bills this year. I'm okay at 18-ish% in the flex. Reports are that he's got a good rapport with Josh Allen. I'll be honest, guys, I did not watch Hard Knocks this year. It hasn't been very good the last couple of years. It's just not. I'll watch quarterback. I'll watch, the receiver, all these other shows. The Dallas Cowboys one, the college football one is great. But yeah, it's I have had a hard time with Hard Knocks. It feels like Netflix is sort of killing the game on those behind the scenes things. So I don't know much of the story of what's happened with Josh Palmer this year, but the reports are pretty good. He's fine. 18%. It seems like this sort of whole middle range is about the same. I'm not I have really no interest in him at like the captain or the MVP. Matt Prater and Tyler Loop are going to be your kickers tonight. The Bills just signed Prater off the practice squad. It seems like he's been around for 1,000 years, but should be a fine option as well. He just got added to the player pool on FanDuel today. So if you have built previously, now you're watching this, you might want to get back and look at that. But yeah, with Tyler Bass being hurt, Tyler Loop is the new Justin Tucker over in Baltimore. The kickers are fine. I don't feel like we're going to see a ton of kicks tonight. I prefer, if I was going to say one or the other, I would say Prater, just because I think that the Bills may get stopped a little bit easier than the Ravens do. I think the Ravens are going to be out for blood. They are looking for revenge tonight. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with that. I said I do not love Derrick Henry, right? I'm making a stand. I'm making a play. That doesn't mean that I'm going to have zero, right? But I'm just going to be underweight on him tonight. But I will have plenty of Justice Hill out of the backfield catching passes, especially on DraftKings. I think that they use him a ton tonight. Ray Davis, I mean, he's going to get some touches. It's not, the price is far too high, especially on DraftKings. Ravens D, and we can talk about the Ravens and the Bills D here. Fine. I don't foresee either of them really being in the nuts, but you have to have exposure to D and Showdown because they can score a touchdown. And if they score a touchdown, it's pretty likely that they get in the nuts. Now at the price tag, they likely have to for sure go on the under here as well. We'd have to be under 50 points, right? One team, or we'd see, if the Ravens win 34-17, potentially we can get the Ravens D in if they score a touchdown. It's just the likelihood of the D being in compared to the ownership, right? 13%, 9% for the Bills. I'd just rather go somewhere else. All right. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm very excited to see how D-Hop looks in this offense with the Ravens. I think that it's going to be a good fit, but also, again, another guy that could potentially be better in my head than he is in real life at this point in his career. And it's so weird for me to say at this point in his career with some of these guys because they're like 29 years old. I honestly, at the top of my head, I have no idea how old D-Hop is. It just feels like he's been in the league forever. But yeah, I think that we could see him, get some action. Ty Johnson is almost entirely a blocking back on third down. Can catch a pass or two. I'm intrigued by Dawson Knox a little bit. I wish the ownership was a little bit lower than that 9% you see there, but he can fall in the end zone. He's going to get one or two targets, backup tight end, right? Curtis Samuel is a guy at 2,800 that's, going to get some rotational looks here, but I would rather play a guy like even like an Elijah Moore, even a Tyrell Shavers. We're gonna have to make sure he's active tonight, but he's a turd that I think could get some looks. Devontae Walker is probably my favorite low-owned play this week. We're looking at 1.82%. I think he's going to get in. He's going to get a target or two. Should be the fourth wide receiver. I think he'll play over Tylan Wallace, even though Wallace is a guy that we've seen in the past in these showdowns catch a big pass down the sidelines, long ball, right? Does do punt and kick return as well. Elijah Moore, like I said, is I'm a big Elijah Moore truther. I think that he is somebody that I'm looking. I thought was good last year for the Browns. Somebody that I liked quite a bit, just in the sense that he was always low owned and got some work. But not somebody that I'm going to spend a ton of ownership on. All right. So let's back out here. Let's look over at FanDuel. There's not a ton different. I'm still all over my boy Lamar Jackson. The pricing's pretty similar. Remember, this year on FanDuel, we get the 1.5x on the salary, 1.5x on the points in the MVP spot. That blows things up. Things are going to be very, very different this year in the scoring on FanDuel. We're going to see far less ties, but we're also going to see far less QBs and running backs be the nuts. That opens up the door for tight ends, for wide receivers to really get there. It used to be that you had to be the highest scorer overall on the slate to be the nuts MVP. That is no longer the case. And with the half-point PPR, that was very, very hard for guys that are tight ends, unless your name's like Travis Kelce or George Kittle, or guys that can put up 2-3 touchdowns a night, to get there. All right. So it really opens things up over there. My player pool in there is pretty much the same. Zay Flowers is a guy that I think you can get with even maybe a Rashad Bateman. There's some, the pricing's a little bit different. Dawson Knox at 3%. I'm intrigued by Elijah Moore at 4,400. Shavers, Devontae Walker, right? All guys that are mega cheap. All right. So the ownership is, we're sorted by ownership here. We're going to see, likely that we see Lamar Jackson at 34. We got him at 34% in the MVP, and then in the 44% in the flex. So could you? Oh man, I mean, I think you should make some lineups without Lamar Jackson if you're building 150, right? Those might be dead, but let's say Lamar tears an ACL, like knock on wood here, like that could happen, right? And now all of a sudden you're only battling 13% of the lineups for the nuts, right? So you got to that's sort of the way you have to think sometimes when you're building 150 lineups or even 20 lineups, right? Which we're going to do here in a little bit. So again, there's no real big groundbreaking things over on FanDuel other than, let's see here. Shakir at 18 is interesting. Rashad Bateman's ownership is far too low. I am going to be like 50% on Rashad Bateman over on FanDuel. So let's switch tabs here. And now let's go to the domination station. All right. So this is our NFL domination station. If you are not a DFS Army VIP, this is what our VIPs pay for. And I'm going to go through a little bit of a setup here. We got that 55.5 or 50.5. Oh, now we're at 26 and 24.5. We got 1.5 point. So I'm going to set tournament mode here. I'm also going to set my salary cap. What am I on? DraftKings. All right. So we know that like 4% or 8% are use the entire salary. So I'm just going to set tonight at 49.8. That helps me be not that big. 49.8 helps me be a little bit unique, but I also don't want to be too unique. So I'm going to go to 4,600 at the bottom of my salary cap. All right. I'm going to change my flex FP a little bit to just eliminate some of these duds at the bottom of my lineup. Salary range is fine. I don't really want to mess with an ownership cap at this point. We're only going to build 20 here at least. Let's force 2 uniques. Okay. And then this randomization is really what I want to do. So I can put in, I love a good randomization. About 20 is where I want to be. Force at least one player. I'm not going to mess with that. Not today anyways. If we go to our captain box, right? So I'm only building 20. I like to keep it around 3 to 4 in my my captain pool if I'm building 20 lineups. So let's uncheck everybody. Oh, now I got to check people back. Let's see. My exclusions. Josh Allen captain. Oops, I clicked Derrick Henry. I'm not going to have a Derrick Henry captain. And let's go Bateman. You could go Zay Flowers. Just for the intents and purposes of this one, I am going to go with Rashad Bateman. So that's my 4 captains. Let's throw one more. Let's throw Zay Flowers in as well. Locked players or excluded players. That's what I want. Zay Flowers. Let's throw him in the captain pool as well. In the flex, I got everybody in there. I just want to make sure I got Devontae Walker in, and it looks like I don't. So he's an exclusion. Again, because his current projection is 0.735. I like him quite a bit more. So if I click a door, that's not even going to do anything for me. Now he's back into my flex, I believe. Oh, nope. I put him into my captain. There we go. Flex. Walker. Here's what we got to do. I just got to go 2.5. 2.5. And that should automatically take him out. Now he's in my flex. All right. So let's just work. I'm not going to. Here's the deal. I'm not gonna roll any 5 1s. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go 40, 30, 30. I really think that this is sort of this team for stacking is what we're gonna keep in the what's gonna make it work for us. So again, that's sort of the easiest thing we can do. You can mess with some rules. You can put some player groupings in, stack between blank and blank. Sim boost if you wanted to simulate a position, things like that. But you know what? I kind of like running it raw like this. Let's just see what the lineups look like. So our top projected lineup is a Josh Allen captain, Lamar, Zay Flowers, Dalton Kincaid, Matt Prater, Justice Hill. Honestly, that feels pretty cashy. Let's see. I don't love Kincaid. Not in love with Kincaid. Let's put Palmer in there, right? So now that's, I think that, the deep guy, Josh Palmer, looks all right. What are my captain exposures here? Got Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Zay Flowers. Don't hate that. I would like to see a James Cook captain lineup. Next one would be an Allen cap. All my Allen captains are the ones that are projecting the highest. All right. So now this is where you got to mess with it a little, right? I know that I love my boy Lamar Jackson. All right. So we know that he is not projected for as much, right? The ownership's a little bit lower. So I'm going to slap an Adore on there. Now let's see how this changes. I bet you I had 35% Lamar. I bet you I get 40-50 here. All right, we're building. 21 players used. Captain, 85% Lamar Jackson. All right. So now we get Lamar, Allen, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Tyler Loop, Devonta. Ooh, that's a sexy lineup right there, right? Now the total ownership is 157. Let's sort by ownership. Again, I don't love the super high ownership. I really just want to see what my lowest ownership one is. 140. Okay. So let's go through. Okay. And let's set an ownership cap of, let's go to like 150. Let's see what it builds. Oh, that's 250. I'm bad at numbers. Optimize. Let's see what it looks like. I bet you I get a James Cook lineup in here at captain now, don't I? Oh no, we only get 2. All right. So now if I sort by potential ownership, I'm kind of getting all of these 140s. My salaries are right in line. Jackson, Allen, Shakir, Andrews, Bateman, Walker. I like that lineup. I like that lineup a lot. Lamar, Josh Allen, Zay Flowers, Shakir, Prater, Walker. I like that lineup a lot. We're going to get lots and lots of Devontae Walker, 50%, which is a little scary to think about. What else? What do I have for wide receivers here in the flex? We might want to look at, man, there's just, let's give our boy D-Hop a little bit of love, but we're getting 15% of them. Here's the deal. I'm going to start making some changes here. I'm going to unlove some players. I don't want any Ty Johnson, especially when you're building 20 lineups, right? This is sort of the way you want to go. I'm going to change my default score to Kincaid to like an 8 too. I just don't think he's going to have the biggest week today. So now we got 20 lineups here. This is again DraftKings, right? Walker. Now we got more. I got 60% Walker. We're still only getting 2 captains. Let's build one more run here and go. I need minimum of 10%. I need some James Cook. I need some James Cook lineups. It just could potentially happen. All right. Now let's see it. All right. We did get 2 James Cook captain lineups. Again, my best lineup here is that one where we get Zay Flowers. So that would be like a Lamar Jackson throwing like crazy lineup, right? And that's sort of the game script that we think is going to happen. I prefer actually this lineup on my number 2 lineup, but number 1, just because I like the kicker in there. The 3-3 seems to be a better lineup. But here, Lamar. Yeah, this one's nice. Lamar, Josh Allen, Shakir, Bateman, Prater, Hopkins. I get on board with that. All right, let's go to, we've been talking about DraftKings quite a bit here. Let's go over to FanDuel, all right? And let's build a lineup over there before we get out of here for the day, all right? So like I said, okay, I'm a big Lamar truther. If we get Lamar into here, we're averaging 8,000 a player left. All right, very easy to build that, especially right. We'd say we like Devontae Walker, and okay. Here's the deal: I'm talking up Devontae Walker. He could easily be a 0 tonight, guys. Easily. So you need to remember that when you're building. But let's say we got Walker, and now we can go Josh Allen. We can go double QB. Don't necessarily love that, but I'm at 8,000, right? So I can build a pretty good looking lineup here. Let's go Allen and Cook. And if we do that, we've likely got all of the tutties in our lineup. We go over, I'm at 7,200. Okay. Again, I'm zoomed in here, guys, so that you can see. Let's say we know we like Rashad Bateman. Okay. And now our last guy, like this ain't bad. I wish I could get a kicker. I just talked about how I have no interest in Dalton Kincaid. He makes some sense here, but I think the best play is like going D-Hop. It's going Justice Hill if you're really looking to get a little funky, right? We don't want to necessarily spend all of our salary. But if we go D-Hop, that leaves us with, 1,000 left. I think that kind of puts us into a good position here. Let's roll up here. Yeah, so we're not in bad shape. All right. I'm a fan of this sort of lineup. All right. Yeah, like that works, right? Doesn't that work? Should we go over to DraftKings and build one over there? Share this tab. All right. We talked about it. We want to go. Let's say we're not going to go Lamar here. Let's go Zay. Let's go real funky here. Let's say we're going to go James Cook 2 tutty game. All right. James Cook 2 tutty game means that it's unlikely that Josh Allen gets there. All right. But let's say he throws 1 touchdown pass to Dalton Kincaid, who we don't necessarily love. We get a Matt Prater in there. We got Lamar Jackson. And now we're going, Rashad Bateman. Like that's super easy. I can enter that thing free right now. Right. We're doing all right here. Did I lose screen connection? Oh, I think we're good here. Okay. So again, that's sort of where I'm at for this week, you guys. I just think that that's going to be the best setup for this game. I hope this was beneficial to you guys. Again, I'm going to try to get these out early on Sundays so that we can get lineups built. Kev has done these in the past, but is likely not going to do these this year. I'm kind of taking over the Sunday Showdown role since I'm not on Monday and Thursday, even though I am building the cheat sheets for those as well. So good luck tonight. Again, hit me up in chat if you have any questions. I'll be around tonight for this one. We'll watch the inactives because, hey, who knows? My 60% Devontae Walker could end up being inactive tonight. So that's what I got for you guys. Cheers. Have a great week. If you are not a DFS Army VIP, use that promo code KICKOFF2025 to get involved. Cheers.